Today, he is more than just a movie star. Keanu Reeves is a cultural icon, a symbol of resilience, humility, and quiet strength in a world obsessed with noise. From redefining action cinema to becoming a global symbol of integrity, he has built an empire of influence without ever needing to shout for attention. Yet, behind the man known as Neo, John Wick, or simply Keanu, lies a story painted in shadows. A story that began not with privilege, but with absence, with loss, with solitude. Because before the fame, before the bullets dodged in slow motion, Keanu Reeves was just a boy, standing alone in Beirut, Lebanon, the city where he was born in 1964, waiting for a father who would never return. His life would not unfold like a typical Hollywood script. There was no golden ladder, no family connections. Just a relentless chain of departures, grief, and uncertainty, all shaping the man he would one day become. As a child, Keanu didn't stay long in one place. His family moved from Beirut to Sydney, then to New York, and eventually to Toronto. A life packed in suitcases, with every new city promising yet another start, and another goodbye. At just 3 years old, his father abandoned the family, a Hawaiian geologist whose own demons pulled him away for good. Keanu's memories of him are faint, just a shadow slipping away on the horizon. His mother, Patricia, a costume designer from England, tried to hold the family together. But life had other plans. She married again, and again, and again. 4 marriages, each ending, each departure adding new cracks to the foundation of Keanu's world. But amidst this instability, Keanu found a silent companion. A hockey stick. In the cold streets of Toronto, it wasn't acting that first made him dream, it was the ice. Keanu dreamed of becoming a professional hockey player, practicing relentlessly, his mind escaping into the rhythm of the puck. His teammates called him the Wall, the unbeatable goalie, a fortress. That stick, worn and battered, wasn't just wood. It was a shield, a weapon, a friend. And perhaps it was also his first script, the first story where Keanu fought, stood tall and defended, even if it was just a net. But fate had a different stage prepared for him. Because while the hockey rink gave him strength, it was the stage and the screen that would teach him something else. How to stand tall even when everything inside you feels broken. And broken was something Keanu knew well. Keanu's youth was a mosaic of upheaval. 4 different stepfathers. 4 different versions of home. Yet none ever felt permanent. In Toronto, the icy streets and the chill inside his small apartments mirrored his own internal solitude. School was not his refuge. In fact, it was a battlefield. Keanu struggled with dyslexia, a learning disorder that turned every line of text into a puzzle he couldn't solve fast enough. While other kids breezed through books, he wrestled with letters that seemed to rearrange themselves at will. He wasn't stupid, far from it, but teachers didn't understand. The system didn't care. He was labeled difficult, a troublemaker, a distraction. He attended 4 different high schools, expelled from one for being too rambunctious, another for lacking discipline. But the truth? Keanu was simply searching for himself in a world that had never given him roots. Still, there was a glimmer in all the chaos, a drama class. It was here, awkwardly reading scripts, that Keanu found a language that didn't judge his dyslexia. Acting was physical, emotional. It was a dance of the soul, not of grammar. He didn't need to read perfectly to feel deeply. On stage, Keanu could express what words in a classroom never could. Pain, longing, hope. And even off stage, he was learning from the most unlikely teacher, his mother. Patricia, despite her turbulent marriages, had an eye for creativity. As a costume designer, she worked with legends like Dolly Parton. Her world was fabric, colors, and reinvention. Lessons Keanu absorbed unconsciously. You can stitch your life back together, no matter how many times it tears. But even with acting in his life, the shadow of abandonment loomed. Keanu's father, Samuel, was sentenced to prison for drug offenses in Hawaii. Their contact ended completely when Keanu was 13. They never reconciled. That void, that open aching space where a father should have been, remained. Yet that absence didn't break him. It forged him. Because Keanu learned early that no one was coming to save him. He would have to save himself. At 15, Keanu declared to his mother that he would be an actor. He left school for good, No diploma, no safety net. Just a belief that he could create a new script, one where he was no longer the abandoned kid, but the leading man. And so he began. Small theater roles, awkward auditions, low-budget TV shows in Canada. But nothing flashy. Nothing easy. His first on-screen role? A Coca-Cola commercial. He played a cyclist, pedaling with all his might for a sip of soda. It wasn't Shakespeare. But it was work. It was a beginning. And though the world didn't know it yet, Keanu was already pedaling toward destiny. Keanu's beginnings on screen were anything but glamorous. There were commercials, minor TV parts, and Canadian films that rarely crossed the border. But each role was a foothold, a brick in the uneven staircase he was building, alone, unpaid, and often unnoticed. But Keanu had something others didn't. Persistence cloaked in humility. He never stormed into auditions with arrogance. He walked in quietly, eyes focused, voice steady, determined to prove himself through craft, not bravado. In the mid-80s, he caught his first significant break, a role in Youngblood, a hockey movie, almost poetic, given his first love. Though his part was small, it was enough to get him to Los Angeles. He packed his bags and left Canada behind. In LA, everything was louder, faster, and more brutal. But he didn't flinch. The City of Angels was indifferent, but Keanu was patient. Then came River's Edge in 1986, a haunting indie drama that displayed Keanu's depth, portraying a teenager grappling with death and morality. His performance was raw, real, and critics noticed. Yet it wasn't until 1989 that the world tilted in his direction. A goofy, time-traveling, rock-and-roll comedy. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Nobody expected much. But the film exploded, and with it, the world met Keanu Reeves, the slacker with a heart of gold and a face destined for the big screen. The character of Ted was silly, yes, but it was sincere. And Keanu's natural earnestness shone through, making even the absurd feel endearing. Suddenly, he wasn't just that guy from Canada, he was a star. And the irony? That role came just as he was trying to prove his seriousness as an actor. But Keanu was never one to be boxed in. While others might have clung to the comfort of comedy sequels, he turned elsewhere, to drama, to action, to Shakespeare. My Own Private Idaho with River Phoenix revealed another layer, a sensitive, aching portrayal of street hustlers searching for identity and love. The film was intimate, painful, and Keanu wasn't playing Ted anymore. He was proving he could be anyone. River Phoenix, that brotherly presence on set, became a real-life friend. Someone who understood the loneliness beneath the fame. Someone who saw Keanu not as a rising star, but as a human being still searching for home. And then, in 1991, Point Break. Surfboards, FBI badges, adrenaline, and a new version of Keanu, action star. His portrayal of Johnny Utah, the rookie agent chasing skydiving bank robbers, made audiences believe in his quiet determination. But the real leap was still ahead. A film that would bend the rules of physics and reshape Keanu's destiny. That film was The Matrix. But before that, life would test him with griefs no blockbuster could soften. Success had finally arrived. But behind the curtain of rising fame, Keanu Reeves was enduring a private storm of heartbreaks the world couldn't see. After the success of Point Break and Speed, which cemented him as a bona fide action hero, Keanu was offered sequels, bigger contracts, and the Hollywood machine at his feet. But he turned down roles that others would kill for. Why? Because Keanu never chased fame for its own sake. He chased roles that made his soul stir. For Speed 2, a massive paycheck waited. He refused, choosing instead to tour with his band, Dogstar, playing bass in modest venues, sleeping on tour buses. A movie star, choosing grungy rock gigs over multimillion-dollar blockbusters. It baffled many. But Keanu wasn't in it for the money. Then came personal tragedy, the kind that doesn't fade with time. In 1998, Keanu met Jennifer Syme, a bright, talented actress and personal assistant in the entertainment world. They fell in love, quietly, away from cameras. In 1999, they were expecting their first child, a baby girl they named Ava Archer Syme Reeves. But destiny was cruel. At 8 months pregnant, Jennifer delivered Ava stillborn. The grief was unbearable. Keanu, who had lost friends and endured abandonment, now faced a sorrow deeper than words. The joy of fatherhood, ripped away before it could begin. Their relationship strained under the weight of loss. They separated, amicably, lovingly, but the wound remained open. And as if fate hadn't punished him enough, just 18 months later, Jennifer Syme died in a tragic car accident. She was just 28. Keanu was shattered. In interviews, he rarely spoke of it, but when he did, his words echoed a universal pain. Grief changes shape, but it never ends. Amidst this darkness, another friend was lost. River Phoenix, his brother in spirit, had already died in 1993 of an overdose outside the Viper Room. The ghosts were piling up. But Keanu did not collapse. He carried them with him, their memories, their laughter, their love, like invisible armor. Then came the year that would redefine cinema, and Keanu. The Matrix arrived, and with it, Neo, the hacker who discovers his reality is a simulation. But in many ways, Keanu wasn't acting. He was Neo, a man awakening to the painful truths of existence, fighting to believe in something bigger than himself. What the audience didn't see was that Keanu trained for 4 months, 8 hours a day, learning martial arts and choreography to execute every impossible move himself. Even after suffering a 2-level fusion surgery on his spine before filming, he pushed through the pain, masking it in every scene. And when The Matrix exploded into a cultural phenomenon, making billions, Keanu did something almost unheard of in Hollywood. He gave away tens of millions of his earnings to the special effects and costume teams, saying they were the real heroes of the movie. He didn't want credit. He wanted fairness. It was the same quiet integrity that defined him off-screen. No mansions in Beverly Hills. No yachts. Keanu lived modestly, rode the subway, gave up his seat without fanfare, becoming a symbol of what it means to succeed without losing your soul. Yet underneath it all, there was a principle guiding him, a core philosophy that held him together. Kindness is strength. Not wealth. Not power. But kindness. It wasn't a slogan for him. It was survival. It was his way of keeping grief at bay. By giving, by being present, by treating everyone, from janitors to directors, with the same respect. And in that, Keanu discovered his superpower. And beyond the spotlight, there was another habit: listening. Keanu became known for standing after premieres and patiently answering every question from fans, often staying longer than his publicists advised. Because for him, success wasn't about being seen. It was about seeing others. In an industry known for ego and excess, Keanu lived like a man who still remembered every absence, every goodbye, every loss that shaped him. There was also his ritual of learning. Even as his fame climbed, he kept studying martial arts, philosophy, and literature. Keanu was, and remains, a seeker, constantly asking, "What more can I understand?" This mindset made him versatile, not just in roles, but in life. Another constant companion: his motorcycles. To Keanu, riding wasn't a hobby, it was meditation on wheels. The hum of the engine, the wind in his face, it was the one place where he felt truly present. This passion birthed Arch Motorcycle, a company he co-founded not for profit, but to build the perfect machine, tailored to the rider. Craftsmanship, precision, purpose. And still, even with all his quiet success, Keanu carried the faces of those he lost. River Phoenix, Jennifer Syme, his daughter Ava, his sister Kim Reeves, who battled leukemia, a fight that inspired Keanu to donate millions anonymously to cancer research, even establishing a private foundation without his name on it. Because Keanu's guiding force wasn't legacy. It was love. Quiet, enduring love for people, for craft, for the fleeting beauty of life. It's no surprise that his characters, Neo, John Wick, are often men forged in grief, navigating pain with stoicism and skill. Because beneath the scripts, Keanu was drawing from a well of real sorrow and real strength. Today, Keanu Reeves lives quietly, but unmistakably, as a legend of both cinema and character. He continues to star in global phenomena like the John Wick series, where his dedication to authenticity borders on the extreme. Months of combat training, weapons mastery, and even performing his own stunts at nearly 60 years old. Yet despite the billions his films have generated, Keanu's life remains stripped of excess. He doesn't own palatial estates or fleets of luxury cars. Instead, He's often spotted riding his motorcycle alone through Los Angeles or quietly enjoying a coffee, lost in thought, like any ordinary man. His family life, however, is more private. Keanu never remarried. The loss of Jennifer Syme and their daughter Ava carved a space in his life that was never truly filled. But his love for his sister, Kim Reeves, remained unwavering. He supported her through her decade-long battle with leukemia, financially, emotionally, spiritually, describing her as his hero. Her recovery remains one of his life's quiet triumphs. In recent years, Keanu found companionship with Alexandra Grant, an artist and longtime friend. Their relationship, revealed without fanfare, stood as a testament to Keanu's enduring desire for connection, not spectacle. But beyond relationships, Keanu's message to the world is unspoken yet deafening. You are not defined by what happens to you. You are defined by how you carry it. Keanu carried his losses not as burdens but as teachers. He reminds us that grief doesn't disappear. It shapes us. And kindness? That is the rebellion against a world that tries to harden us. His humility, generosity, and perseverance are not just traits, they are choices. Choices we all can make. And perhaps that's Keanu's true gift to us. That no matter the pain, the losses, or the unfair turns of life, we can still choose to move forward with grace. He once said, "I don't want to flee from life. I know the beauty of it." And if Keanu Reeves, the abandoned boy from Beirut, the lonely teen in Toronto, the grieving lover, the haunted friend, can become a symbol of strength, humility, and perseverance, then so can we. So what can we take from his journey? That life will test us. We will lose people we love. We will face setbacks we don't deserve. But what matters is the step you take next. Choose kindness. Choose presence. Choose to keep going. Because in the end, as Keanu's life proves, being human, fully, vulnerably, courageously, is the greatest role any of us will ever play.